Imagine waking up in a world where everything you do, buy, or even think is monitored. Sounds like a science fiction movie, right? But it's not. The world around us is changing so quickly that many people don't even notice it. The cash we used to carry in our pockets is disappearing, replaced by credit cards and apps. Debts are increasing to the point where even the most essential needs are becoming inaccessible for many families. And while all of this is happening, powerful systems are emerging, increasingly controlling our choices and our lives. But what's behind these changes? Is it just technology advancing, or is something much bigger forming, silent and invisible? What's coming could change the world as we know it, and not necessarily for the better. Some say these changes were predicted, that we are heading towards a future where freedom will be a privilege, not a right. And the worst part is, this is happening right now, right before our eyes. That's why it's necessary to stay vigilant before it's too late. Before continuing, take this moment to subscribe to the channel to ensure you don't miss content that could make a difference in your life. Here, we discuss topics that help you understand the world today and prepare for what's to come. So, click the button to subscribe and stay informed about everything that matters. Have you noticed how fast the world seems to be changing, faster than we can keep up with? Many things that used to be common, like paying with cash, are disappearing. Now, almost everyone uses credit cards or mobile apps for payments, and this is transforming the way we live. At the same time, news outlets are reporting ever-increasing debts, both for families and governments. It seems like people are becoming more and more dependent on credit and loans to cover essential needs, like food or housing. But these changes aren't just practical, they make us reflect on what they mean for the future. It's as if we are heading towards something much bigger and deeper, something that could influence not only our daily lives but also our beliefs. Many wonder if these transformations are tied to a larger plan, one already predicted in ancient texts like biblical prophecies. It feels like we are living in a moment when we need to be more attentive than ever to understand what's behind all these changes. The use of cash is rapidly decreasing, replaced by digital payments and credit cards. This shift is being promoted by banks, corporations, and even governments, which see advantages in eliminating physical money. Beyond convenience, the digitalization of transactions makes control easier, as everything can be tracked. This change raises concerns because purely digital systems can limit financial freedom. According to some biblical interpretations, like Revelation 13, a scenario where only those who follow certain rules can buy or sell seems to be getting closer to reality. Many see this transition as a step toward a future of total control over the economy and individual choices. With the rise of digital currencies and online payments, financial transactions are becoming completely traceable. Unlike cash, which offers anonymity, digital payments leave detailed records of everything, what you buy, where, and when. This creates an environment where governments or corporations can monitor, control, and even restrict purchases. This infrastructure makes it easier to implement a system in which only those who follow specific rules can participate in the economy. While this may seem like a purely technological and modern phenomenon, it aligns with what is described in Revelation 13, which speaks of total economic control. The main concern is that, without alternatives like cash, people could completely lose their financial autonomy. The transition to a fully digital financial system doesn't just impact the practical side of the economy but also raises profound spiritual questions. The Bible, in Revelation 13, describes a future where no one can buy or sell without accepting the mark of the beast, a symbol of total control. Although this may seem far off, many see the digitization of the economy as a step in that direction. The absence of cash makes it easier to control who participates in the economy, paving the way for decisions based on beliefs, ideologies, or compliance with specific rules. For those who believe in biblical prophecies, these changes represent not just a technological transformation but the fulfillment of spiritual warnings about the end times. In a digital financial system, every transaction leaves a trail of data. From grocery shopping to major financial operations, everything can be monitored, recorded, and analyzed. This means governments and corporations have unprecedented access to information about consumption habits, personal preferences, and even individuals' locations. Cash, which allows untraceable exchanges, is disappearing rapidly, replaced by systems that centralize financial control. This centralization not only compromises privacy but also creates the potential for transactions to be restricted based on ideologies or adherence to specific rules. For many, this reflects a troubling alignment with biblical descriptions of a future where financial freedom is entirely subordinated to a global control system. Picture a simple scenario. You walk into a store to buy something and realize the cashier doesn't accept cash, only cards or mobile payments. It seems normal nowadays, doesn't it? But what many fail to notice is how this is becoming the standard. In recent years, cash usage has declined drastically. In 2019, about 26% of transactions were made with cash. Just 2 years later, that percentage dropped to 19%. The pandemic accelerated this shift. Further, as many people preferred to avoid physical contact, today, nearly half of Americans report never using cash during the week. What does this mean? Convenience for some, but for others, it marks the beginning of a system where every purchase leaves a digital trail. Rather than being a choice, using cash is becoming impossible in many places. This transformation is not just technological but also a matter of freedom and privacy, as more and more transactions are being tracked and controlled. Debt levels continue to grow alarmingly, affecting both families and governments. In the United States, total household debt reached $17.8 trillion in 2024. This includes mortgages, student loans, auto loans, and credit card debt, which alone has surpassed $1.14 trillion for the first time. With the rising cost of living, many people rely on credit to cover essential expenses like food and housing. In addition, the national debt has reached historic levels, exceeding $35 trillion. This scenario reflects growing financial instability that affects all social classes. As dependence on credit increases, the economy becomes more vulnerable to future crises. For many, these numbers are a warning sign about the current state of the economic system and its impact on daily life. For some, the economic and technological changes we are experiencing are not mere coincidences but signs of something larger that was foretold long ago. The Bible, particularly in the book of Revelation, describes a future where economic control will be absolute and no one will be able to buy or sell without accepting the so-called mark of the beast. For those who believe in prophecies, the rise of digital currencies, the centralization of transactions, and the elimination of cash are clear steps in that direction. These changes point to the construction of an infrastructure that aligns with what is described in Scripture. Economic centralization and technological surveillance are seen as tools that could be used to bring these scenarios to fruition. Even though many don't yet perceive it, for believers, it's a signal that we are approaching the events described in Revelation, reinforcing the need for spiritual discernment and vigilance. Technological progress is creating a global infrastructure that enables an unprecedented level of control. Digital identities, internet-connected devices, and digital payment systems are transforming how people live and interact. With everything interconnected, from bank accounts to health data, governments and corporations now have access to detailed information about every individual. This technological centralization allows for monitoring, tracking, and potentially controlling aspects of daily life. Systems like digital identities are promoted as convenient but create dependence on global networks for simple actions like shopping or traveling. Many believe that these technologies, while presented as progress, could be used to establish a system of total control. This aligns with the descriptions in Revelation, where a single power will have economic, political, and spiritual dominance. If this content has helped you see the changes around us in a new light, subscribe to the channel to continue exploring topics that make a difference. Your participation is essential to keep this exchange of ideas alive. Leave a comment about what impacted you the most. I want to hear your opinion.